Greetings from the Corporate Interface Cell and a very warm welcome to Business Edge 5.0 Six Industries One podcast, presented by Park Avenue, where we delve deep into the corporate world's ever-evolving landscape. The Corporate Interface Cell is the corporate club of NMIMS ASM SOC, where we strive to bridge the gap between the students and the corporate world by providing a breakthrough into the business world. I, Aryan Handa, present to you an episode on the industry where innovation meets ambition, the tech industry. Today we have with us Mr. Sanjeev Sharma, Director and Partner Tech Lead at Microsoft with nearly 2 decades of work experience in the corporate world. A global business leader with deep technical skills across solution areas, awarded Best People Manager. He recently created billion USD plans envisioning to global execution. During his career, he has worked with esteemed companies like Tata Infotech. It is truly an honor having you here today, sir. To kick things off, can you share a bit about your role at Microsoft India and what it means to be a director? And you can share a few key responsibilities.
First of all, everyone, thank you for having me here. Truly appreciate it's not just a learning for you, it's also a learning for me. I firmly believe in the concept of reverse mentoring and reverse learning. So thank you for that. Addressing my introduction, been in business 25 years now. At Microsoft, while my title is a director, and that was something which was very sought after many years ago. But as you grow in your experience, you keep working, you realize there is a larger context of roles and responsibilities that one pursues and enjoys. My roles and responsibilities, Aryan and colleagues, are so I lead what is called as Partner Technology Org. What it means simply is Microsoft is a very large company addressing to its customer requirements. But there is a big enablement that happens through partners. So every deployment that you see is by and large done by our partners. So partners are very essential part of our business. And my team and myself, we work on enabling the partners on the new technologies which is coming in, ensuring that we are co-creating some IPs or solutions or services with them. And third, ensuring that our customers get the best out of our partners. So those are roles and responsibilities I look after.
So you were mentioning new technologies coming up. Can you elaborate that a little?
Oh yeah, new technology. I mean, who hasn't heard about AI right now?
Yeah.
Right. But there's a lot more happening even beyond AI. We have launched, in fact, just last night, Mustafa Suleiman, who leads our AI org, launched the newer version of Copilot. And, the impact is enormous. I'll encourage some of you to go and have look at the videos which are posted. Yeah.
So, since you have nearly 2 decades of work experience, in a nutshell, can you share your experience to date and have you ever evolved over time?
Yeah, I mean, so few things about this industry. And when I got into IT industry very, very early on, I think the way I was as a professional back then, I am way different than what I am today. So one is professional growth. Second is also a personal growth, which is led by your professional growth. So on a professional growth, I started my first 7 years in, and you mentioned Tata Infotech. For the first 7 years, I was working in the application side of the world. So I was working on software applications, which included ERPs, banking applications, HRMS, e-learning, content management, bunch of those. The next 7 years were in virtualization, para-virtualization, cloud, virtualized backup, bunch of those things. And then I came to Microsoft some 11 years ago to pursue my ambitions on data. So I've had this 7-year itch on my career, where from apps I moved to the virtualization and cloud and then to data. So there's been a professional growth where I have evolved and understood more the applications of these technologies into the business world. But more than that, I think now when I look back, there is a very profound personal growth that has happened. Like you mentioned about the award that I got 2 years ago, Best People Manager. That award is very special because that was the first time I was managing an all-woman team. And I was reporting to a female leader. So it was very special. I think in that year and a half or two, my personal growth was the best ever. And I won't say I wasn't paranoid because, I had uh, two girls fresh out of college and one very tenured person, and the two others who were with Microsoft for long enough. And to work with them during the COVID times, I think it was very, very interesting. I have become a great believer of diversity over a period of time because I saw the way the professional success came, and then there was a lot of personal growth for me. So I'm a very different person than what I used to be 23
So you
years ago.
mentioned about diversity. So how important is in the tech industry, and what steps has Microsoft taken to promote inclusion, particularly in India?
Diversity and inclusion are not just keywords, they are in our everyday behavior. Uh, Very, very important. We do so much around it, and diversity and inclusion is not just about gender diversity. That's just one flavor of it, but I think there is a larger impact of diversity with people with different abilities, people with different orientations, different preferences, different nationalities who all come together and to create different products and services and solutions. I'll give you an example of, so we have listening circles. We have, trainings and sessions are very important, but we have listening circles where we have 360 signals where we listen to people as to if there is something that we are not doing right. One of the most important lesson I found, and that's just how we are, right? Uh, that if there is something happening and you try to intervene, do you intervene without the permission of the person who is impacted, or do you ask the permission before you intervene? Think of it. And that is the level of perspectives on inclusion that we go. But it's a zero tolerance company. In fact, I've had the joy of working. If you look at Microsoft today, we have a good share of leaders from diverse cultures, ethnicity, race, gender. So extremely proud of this. Extremely proud of this.
Moving on to the next question. Microsoft often talks about tech for good. What projects or initiatives have you led that are directly impacting communities in India, and which is the most memorable one?
So I have not led myself, Aryan, but there are three projects that I feel I'm very proud of and passionate about. Non in any sequential way, but I'll talk about the first one when I saw it probably around 4 years ago. And if some of you follow the great comic Trevor Noah, and if you see his video with Microsoft, so he has interviewed a gentleman by the name Sakib, who's leading Microsoft Sees AI initiative. And that's a very important initiative. When I first saw that video, I was at our company event in US, and there is this person who has visual disability and is able to create impact with our products and solutions. And that was something which was really, really touching a nerve with me, and I got very passionate about. So that was one. I saw the impact of that in India. So there is another case study. So there is a gentleman, Mr. Ram Kumar, who's based out of Chennai with SBI, and he leverages Power Platform of Microsoft to create low-code, no-code applications in a very secure way, and they are deployed at SBI. So the work that Microsoft has done over the years on making our products and solutions accessible and bringing inclusivity into everything is now yielding results. The third one, which is very close to where we are, so Microsoft has various units. So one is Microsoft Research Services, Research Center (MSR), which keeps working with innovative ideas. So the last project that they had was Karya.ai. Now, what does Karya do? Karya is working on large language models. Most of you are familiar with. What is the key requirement of large language models? To have more and more data, voice samples, language samples. So they created an app, and And they have given an opportunity to women in remote villages in Maharashtra and other places to just recite the language so that we can build up on the model, and they get paid for it. And what they get paid for is much more than the minimum wages. So it's not just created an opportunity for people in remotest parts, empowering women, and at the same time giving them a recognition for their work, because they will continue to get the royalty on it. So that these three projects are phenomenal, and I feel very proud that I'm part of a company. But yeah, to answer, I'm not directly involved, but this is something which comes.
So you mentioned about low code, no code applications. So can you please elaborate on that?
So Microsoft has this platform called Power Platform, and I think if any one of you feel that you need to create an attendance management system, you could just go give some natural commands, and I mean, it's a citizen development app development platform. So the core philosophy behind it is that anybody can create apps, and with simple commands.
That's really nice, sir. So how do you address the concerns surrounding job displacement due to AI and automation, especially in a market like India, where a significant portion of workforce is employed in sectors vulnerable to automation?
To this, and I'm very bullish about technology. I mean, spending my entire professional life in the technology space, it takes me back to the time when the back then government of India trying to bring in supercomputer to India, and there was a debate in Parliament where the then opposition party mentioned that this will take away the jobs, and I was very young, and there was this habit of reading newspaper, and I followed that. And then we saw that last few decades, India is actually leading the software solutions wave. We are a global power because of the software solutions development services that we have done. One of the impact is that the largest number of amount of remittance that comes to India is led by the software solution industry. So coming to the topic on AI, so when IT industry evolved, there were similar fears. It is these fears are always there when there is a advent of new technology. But I think I won't say that there won't be jobs which will get impacted by technology. There will be some, but the opportunity that gets created out of the advent of technology is far bigger. To give you an example, a large organization which is doing factory automation may leverage their resources which they are saving out of automation into new productivities, new plants, and their profitability will help them scale better. So I believe firmly that there will be more job opportunities coming out of AI. Think of it, one other example related to education. Today, if there is a individual who is very good with just picking up mathematics, and they may be sitting in any remote place, India, Kenya, Japan, anywhere, they could actually teach kids in any other part of the world leveraging technology. And AI will make it even better. So I think I'm a believer that there will be less number of job losses, but there will be more number of opportunities created, even in India.
I agree with you on that, sir. So you were mentioning about AI impacting the educational industry. Can you share your views on AI impacting the healthcare and the agriculture industries as well?
Very much. In fact, we have multiple projects, and I can't name some of them, but multiple projects which we do as part of our social responsibility, essentially on the agri-tech. Today, a lot of farmers have access to the weather data on their phone in their own language. They have access to the mandi rates on their phone, and they can choose that should I go to this place to sell, or should I go to the other place to sell, because the rates are better, and they can factor in how much is going to be the transportation cost. So tech is already making that impact. The newer side of it is that AI is enabling them to leverage this technology in their own language. India obviously is one of the most diverse nations in the world with such a cultural heritage and so many languages. Bringing this to production is a task. But I think we are all up for it, and there's good amount of work happening on it. I am very bullish about healthcare opportunities, access to healthcare in remote villages. Uh, we have uh, uh, we have a large number of medical practitioners, surgeons who are available in the urban areas. With telemedicine, we are already seeing that remote areas will get positively impacted and they will leverage the expertise. But I think going further with the advent of robotics, a surgeon sitting out of Mumbai may actually end up performing surgery for somebody in Chandrapur. And so I think it's all going in a very, very good direction.
Okay.
Interesting times.
Yeah. So you were talking about robotics doing the surgery. Wouldn't there be any complications, like if something wrong happens at that time and the surgeon is not present at that moment?
Yeah, in fact, you'll find it interesting that human error is the data on human error and system error is very, very interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
It's really nice, sir. So, what's next for Microsoft in India? Are there any specific developments of or areas of focus that excite you for the future? And what do you think is the most underrated tech trend in India right
We are
now?
obviously excited about India. We've been here more than 25 years now. Both our engineering team, in fact, outside of US, the biggest engineering team is based out of India, in Hyderabad, Bangalore, now Noida, and very soon coming up in other cities as well. We have been working with banking. We've been working with banking, manufacturing, public sector a lot. But I think a good amount of work is happening on with the government of India, with various states, various units of healthcare system, initiatives like DigiYatra, initiatives like the farmer information systems. So bunch of those initiatives are there, and we are working on it very passionately. I think the area where we can do more is around analytics. So I think if we have more analytics and more unified view of data, that will help us implement our projects even better. So that's one space I believe will become better with the advent of AI now, because AI democratizes data. We can bring in data from anywhere and collate and make the sense out of it. So I'm extremely positive. Yeah.
Does the typical 9 to 5 workday feel any different now compared to when you first started? And how do you think the evolution of technology and workplace dynamics has shaped the change?
Yeah, there is a big change, Aryan. When I started my career in my first year, I used to watch a movie on Monday, 3 to 6. I hope my then managers don't watch it. But, that was when you are young, you are rebel and you want to say that, yes, I'm doing my work, but I'll also do what I want to do. Look at it today. On my way back to home or on travel, when I travel across India, I do watch movies during the daytime also sometimes, right? So the work and life are now more interwoven than they were ever before. So 9 to 5 used to exist earlier. Now we have more flexible times. So just giving you a very practical example. So I come to office, I work for a few hours, I go back home, take my time, and then I again work because I have to collaborate with the teams in the US and other countries. It also brings a very important point. How do you find your work-life balance? And Microsoft is very strong on that. So we are flexible and we choose our times. But yes, now your work is on your phone, your work is on your at your house, on your dining table. So you have to also bring in some bit of discipline. And our leaders have spoken a lot about it. There was one article which was published last year on this same topic, and I think going back to what you started as a question on, yes, it has changed, yes, it has evolved, but I think we have more flexibility than we had before.
So does the hybrid mode also provide flexibility, because you can work in anywhere if you want?
Absolutely. I worked out of your canteen a few minutes back.
So moving on to the last question. Can you share a defining moment from your career that taught you a valuable lesson? And what's the best piece of career advice you have received that helped shape your journey as a tech leader?
Okay. So first question is, Can you repeat the question?
Sorry. Can you share a defining moment from your career that taught you a valuable lesson and the best piece of career advice that you have received?
So defining moment was obviously chairing a meeting, coordinating a meeting with Mr. Satya Nadella. That obviously stands out as my. The other side of the table was the CEO of a large 20 billion Indian enterprise. I can't name him, but I want to share this very small piece in another incident with the same leader. So obviously this was my meeting, and I mean, it's so amazing, right? Satya is one of the most sought after CEOs worldwide, but he lets you take the meeting forward while you're not there. So I think that was very great learning for me. The learning from the other CEO was we had a meeting with them in their HQ, and the CEO saw, and there was no female in the room. There were, I think, 16, 17 of us in a large discussion. He said, wait, we are waiting for 2 leaders who are coming in, and then we'll start the meeting. And I felt that this company is a large Indian conglomerate, and the CEO is so clear on his diversity principles, which we don't generally associate, and it is overlooked. But it was very subtly done, and he made sure that there was a diverse discussion. Coming to the point on my learnings, I have few actually. I'll talk about 3 of them. First one was which was in the early stages of my career, and that has stayed with me. That was a friend of mine who was in tech industry back then, and he told me that if you're trying to come into software industry, make sure that you read and stay updated every day. Because this industry is so fast evolving, you'll get out of cycle in no time. And what I started doing was I keep reading about technology. Every Saturday I block few hours to make sure that I keep myself updated about what's happening. So that is one good advice. I give that advice to everybody who's around me. The second advice was you have to, which came from my first manager in Microsoft. And it was before coming to Microsoft, I had worked in a few startups and young companies. And he said, Sanjeev, in a large complex company, if you don't learn to collaborate in all direction 360, you won't succeed. In the beginning, I didn't take his advice seriously, but I think over a period of time, I realized, and every year on my work anniversary, I call him. And I thank him for it because I think that was very important at many layers. And the final thing that I have evolved over a period of time as a professional, and which is my own learning, is to have very clear communication. It's very important in our personal lives also. You know, very simply said, if you love somebody, just go and tell them that you love them. Don't wait for them to assume. It's important in work life where you have a conflict with respect to a project. The better and clearer you communicate, you have a better chance of solving it faster and easier.
We have had some great discussions so far, but now it's time for things to get a little more fun. We'll dive into the rapid fire round. The rules are simple. You have quick answers, and we need your first instinct, no overthinking. So 3 words to describe today.
Describe this situation or me?
So today.
Today? Oh, energetic, excited, and learning. Yeah.
So if not tech, which industry you would have chosen?
Oh, automobile. I would have been a driver or test driver.
Yeah.
Test driver.
Okay,
yeah.
so you love driving?
Oh, I do.
Okay. So what's one book or movie that you recommend to students?
One book that changed my life is Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Okay.
And I firmly believe in everything, every single word that's written on that book. Yeah.
So one tech innovation you can't live without.
I have to take my CEO's name. Every app on the cell phone, on the device. So I think cell phone is integral part. I tease my son, who's 11 years, that your one hand is iPad, another hand is iPhone. They are attached to each other, but this is the reality of the world. Yeah.
So do you believe in innovation or stability?
Innovation.
Sir, any reasons or examples?
I think we are as a humankind, if we wouldn't have innovated, we wouldn't have lasted this long.
Yeah. Okay. So AI, do you believe it is a friend or a foe?
Friend.
Friend. I agree with you. So a recent tech startup that has amazed you?
Oh. It's like asking which is your favorite child. I met some, and I don't know if you saw my LinkedIn post recently. I moved roles, and in my previous role, I met over 300 plus startup founders, and interacted with many more numbers of those. But I won't name any because this will mean bias. But there's at least one of them which really amazed me. It's a company out of Bangalore. Young people always excite me, so I think it's youngsters. And when I first met them, I actually felt that have they come to meet me, or are they the founders? They were the founders, and that company is a very sought after company in AI. It's in Bangalore. Really love what they're doing.
That's really nice, sir. That was a fun and fast-paced rapid fire. Now it's time to flip the script a bit. We have a lot of listener curiosity come our way. So in our next segment, CIC wants to know, we will dive into the questions that has been on everyone's mind. These are the most frequently asked questions by our audience. Are you able to see?
Yes.
So does any particular movie or TV show resonate with you?
Oh, I mentioned about movie. I have watched a lot of movies. In fact, one movie, do I have time on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There are so many movies that come to my head, but Departed is one of my favorite ones.
Departed, okay.
And the recent one by Oppenheimer is
yes,
another one which I really love. Yeah.
That's really nice, sir. So does your day have a secret hack for handling an overflowing email box?
I do.
Okay.
I have a focus block every day for an hour at least, which is a block on my calendar. Every day 1 hour. And that is my time. Either sometimes to respond to mail, sometimes to read, sometimes to do some other things. But that's my time, yeah.
Okay.
I think we should, so Microsoft Outlook allows you to have focus time, which is a D&D on your Teams. So yeah, that's a trick.
Does your career success ever shift your personal goals or dreams outside of work?
No, I've been a passionate person all my life. I love technology. I read so much. I enjoy every bit of it. I've taken job shifts, and this is another advice to you. At least twice in my career, there were times when I went back on my compensation and good amount of compensation to do what I wanted to do better. So, what I love doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does failure teach you more than success? So, now we have a fun and quirky segment called the emoji round. In this, we will throw out a few scenarios and you have to react in the form of emojis.
I'm poor with that, by the way.
Okay. So I'll just explain. So this is the angry one.
Yeah.
Okay. No comments.
Okay.
Shocked. Face palm.
Yeah.
And happy.
Yeah, I think I know most of them, yes. Thank you.
Your
And you can use one every time or again and again.
Yeah, you can. Your reaction to AI taking over the world?
I'm actually amazed.
Okay.
So
Okay,
it amazes me every day, every moment. Yeah.
Okay. Your reaction to ChatGPT as a competitor to Copilot?
Not really. Not really. Not really.
Okay. Your reaction to receiving a long-awaited award?
Oh my God, you touched my nerve.
Okay, so what's your response to the increasing competition in the tech industry?
I think it's good, it's healthy. What is a good emoji for it?
Happy.
Happy? Where is happy? Yeah. Yes.
So your reaction when a tech solution you proposed saves the day?
Oh, it's a satisfaction. I can't use the word, it's unparliamentary, but I'm sure you got it. So you don't have an emoji for it.
Yeah. So your reaction to discovering a major bug right before a product launch?
It happened at a very wrong time. So Yeah, it did. What is the emoji I should put for it? Yes.
Okay. So your reaction when you hear we are out of tea in the office?
I'm a tea person.
Yeah.
I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't function without tea. So, yeah.
That was a fun segment, sir.
Thank you.
Now that we have got the sense of your professional side, our next segment is called Beyond the Boardroom, where we step away from your work, and talk about who you are outside the office. We all know the Microsoft director, but let's get to know Sanjeev Sharma, the person.
You should ask my wife though. But
Okay.
in fact, coming here brought me the memory. One of the first times I met my wife was at the shopper stop, and I called her, and I told her, so shopper stop here used to have a Citibank ATM. When we were friends and just about to begin dating, I borrowed 10,000 rupees from her, not given her back yet. And that was a place where she gave it to me. And so I'm a father. I love that part of my life. I've loved my wife all my life. So she was my friend. We fell in love. We got married. So it's many years. We were just trying to recollect how many years ago was that, probably 20, 25 years ago. So
That's really nice, sir. So how do you unplug from tech world and recharge your creativity?
I think for me, this is a difficult one because I read about tech on my phone or devices. So when I'm disconnecting, I'm still with technology, but I do read a lot.
Okay.
So I'm kept this habit of mine that I read these magazines in paper. So not advertising, but Forbes, Fortune, couple of other business magazines. I keep them. There are times when there are magazines piled up and my house worker will tell me that, Bhaiya, this is piled up, but I keep them and I read them retrospectively and then I move them out. So that's a habit I've kept, yeah.
So how do you balance personal growth with the demands of a corporate job?
It's difficult, not easy. Not easy. I think, and when you folks will get into the workforce, and I love this about my current, not in my current team, but the immediate past team, which had a lot of fresh college graduates. We call them aspire hires. So they were a bunch of aspirers, and I learned a lot from them, especially this one person I was talking about who has gone to a very good college to do her MBA after working with us for a few years. And she would challenge me every time. If I have asked her a question in my one-on-one, she'll have 3 more questions for me back. Okay, why are you asking this? What do you mean by that? And at first, I found it difficult. But then I realized that there is so much more I'm learning, and I started enjoying my conversations. So today I'm known as a manager, one of the few managers in company who actually have done well with a fresh team or the fresh blood, as you may call it, as well as with the tenured folks. But I think it's a very different orientation to work with your generation. Yeah.
So do you have any passions or hobbies outside of work that keep you grounded?
Loads of them. I love reading. I love traveling. I love watching movies.
Okay.
I love music. These are all routine ones, but I love driving. In my time every day, there is a time when I want to drive some bit, and that's my unwinding time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning about books. Any particular book that you would suggest for us?
I love reading a lot of biographies.
Okay.
And one of the first few biographies that excited me was, I don't know if I can take the name, Richard Branson's Losing My Virginity. And it's a book, published book. He's a big corporate leaders, Virgin Group. In fact, there is one chapter in which he was deciding about taking a call whether they make an attempt to take over British Airways or not. And Virgin Airlines was very new. And I think I would urge each of you to read that chapter, and it's very interesting. But there are a bunch of other leaders, both political. I love reading political investigations also. I read various, I read in Hindi, I read in Marathi, I read in languages, fiction. But the most part of enjoyment is coming from non-fiction.
Okay. So who or what inspires you outside of the tech industry? Do you have any role models or sources of motivation?
So when I began working, there were few. But as I evolved over a period of time, I realized that you don't have one role model. Okay. you have multiple role models for, like, there is a mentor of mine who is my role model for how the life has to be lived.
Hmm.
Because his kids have done well, he has a happy family, and that's my role model for life. There is another role model for professional success. There is another role model for tech innovation. So there are a bunch of people that you start idolizing. I think the best thing that one can do early on is have as many mentors as possible. Some of them will really change your life.
Yeah, that's really nice, sir. Looking back, what's been a non-work related achievement that you are really proud of?
Okay. It's a personal achievement. So my child is science child. We call him science child because he's born out of ICSI process. And we both, me and my wife, and I don't know if I can talk about it in a college, but I think I should. We fell in love. We wanted to get married to have a kid, and it wouldn't happen. And then we sought science intervention. So we tease him that you're an innovation of science because you were brought up in a lab. It's a taboo, but I think the first person who spoke very well about it is Mrs. Neeta Ambani. And she publicly came out that IVF is a thing. And so I think if you call me, it's not my achievement, it's my wife's achievement because the process is enormous on women. But I feel extremely proud that we went through this, and after failures, we got in.
It's really wonderful to know about, sir. So, what surprised you the most when you first started working in the corporate world, and compared to what you imagined as a student?
I never thought the corporate politics will be so brutal.
Okay.
It's a thing. It's a reality. And you may choose not to be part of it, but you become part of it sometimes.
Okay.
So that's something which I have despised all my life. I'm happy reading about politics in newspaper and magazines and watching political thrillers, but in office, you don't want that. So that was one thing which I felt very surprised, that why would somebody want to not do their work and do something else to pull somebody down, But guess what? This is the reality, right? It happens in your society. It sometimes happens in your extended families. It sometimes happens with you as friends. So it took me a while to figure out that this is a reality. This will happen. You have to find your path. You have to make sure that you are maneuvering around it and going ahead.
So, what keeps you energized and motivated while handling a lot of stress?
Outcomes. So if you're focused on an outcome that, look, this is what, so very recently, as soon as I moved into this role, there was something which was burning. But I was pretty clear that, it's a matter of time. We will solve it, and this is what will happen. And I'm very happy to share there was a outcome this morning itself, and I was telling my wife it's going to be a happy Diwali. So yeah.
That's quite interesting, sir.
Yeah.
We have had the pleasure of hearing your insights today, but now it's time to turn the tables.
Okay.
We'd like you to pose a thought-provoking question for our audience to reflect on and share their answers in the comments across our social media.
Sure. I think one question that I have for each of you is, would you go and work for somebody, or would you create an enterprise which will provide employment to a lot more? That's something that you should think about. The other thing that I feel, are you going to be following a status quo, or are you going to think about dramatically changing it, altering it, whether it is in work or life? Rather, you asked for one, I gave you two.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So this brings an end towards our podcast. We have had the distinct pleasure of diving deep into the tech world with you. Your insights have truly opened our eyes with the incredible innovations and challenges shaping our future. Viewers, we hope you found this conversation as enlightening as we had. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thanks a lot, everyone.